Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karin Joy Cornelio. But before we start our report for today, I have here 3 pictures. So nako ipakita sa inyo ang mga pictures. So gusto nako ning gusto nako nga nganlan ninyo unsay nahitabo daning every pictures. So mao kini ang mga pictures. So first, second, and then the third one. So with that, kinsa og unsa jud kaha ang hinungdan nganong naidaghan basura sa ato ang kadagatan, sa ato ang mga palibot ug ilabi na sa ato ang kanang mga katubigan. Unsa og kinsa jud kahay hinungdan sa nganong naay illegal logging ug illegal mining? Kinsa man jud kaha ang nagbuhat ni ana? So, yes, sakto mo. Kita ra jud mismo mga tao ang nagbuhat ni ana. So para ma-control ni ang mga binuhatan ug dili para maghatag og dakong problema sa ato ang palibot, natay gitawag nga Philippine Environmental Laws. What is environmental law based on 1987 Constitution? Environmental law is still at its cradle years in our country. The glacial growth of environmental law in the country may be attributed to the fact that for most part of our existence as a nation, activities inimical to the environment were minimal. So unsa ning environmental law? Mao kini siya ang mga balaod nato diri sa Pilipinas nga magprotekta sa atuang palibot para kitang mga tao dili lang hurot-hurot sa mga resources kung dili aware pud ta sa tuang gibuhat nga labag sa tuang balaod sa atong palibot. So usa niini sa ecological law ang naa sa usa niini ka balaod sa ecological law sa 1987 Constitution mao ang RA 9003 or Ecological Solid Waste Act Management of 2000. So an act providing for an ecological solid waste management program, creating the necessary institutional mechanism and incentives, declaring certain acts prohibited and providing penalties appropriating funds. So kaning Ecological Solid Waste Act mao ni siyang balaod nga naghatag og pagtagad og programa sa mga nga naghisgot sa saktong paglabay sa mga basura sa atong palibot ug naay mga penalties niini or mga fines nga imong madawat kung ikaw mismo naglabag sa nagbuhat or naglabag dani nga balaod. So para mahibalo ta unsay atong buhaton sa ato ang basura o pag segregate natay gitawag nga the 3 R's. So unsa ning the 3 R's? The first R will be the reduce. So the process of reducing begins with an examination of what you are using and what it is for. So ang kaning reduce from the word reduce, so meaning ato ang kuhaan. So atong hibawon ang ato ang mga basura kung kana ba siya malata or dili malata. Pinaagi sa pagbuhat ni ana. So mahibalo ta kung unsa pay agay nga maayong mabuhat ni ana. So the second R will be the reuse. In either case, you are working towards reusing the item. So from the word reuse, meaning, gamito nato siya og utro. Just like for example, sa cellophane. So, sa cellophane, human gamit sa cellophane, dapat dili siya nga ilabay siya mismo. So, dapat imo siyang taguan para magamit pa og usab. The next R will be the recycling. So, to recycle means it will transform again into a raw material that can be shaped into a new item. So, just like for example, nga tong makita diri sa presentation. Kay from the word recycling. So, gikan sa isa ka basura, maka-create tag a new product. So, kani siya sa to ang presentation dari. Makita nato ang bottle. So, instead nga ilabay na siya, so dapat napadito siya lain nga ma-create nga product. So that would be all. Then the next topic will be report with my co-reporters Ruel Tripoli.
So in continuation of Miss Karen Joy Cornelio, so my name is Royal Tripoli. Purpose of National Solid Waste Management Commission. It is the major agency tasked to implement Republic Act 9003 of the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. That calls for the institutionalization of a national program that will manage the control, transport, and processing of disposal. So meaning, solid waste management is considered to be the one of the most serious environmental issue in the Philippines. So the primary goal of solid waste management is reducing and eliminating adverse impacts of solid waste materials of human health and the environment to support economic development and superior quality of life. So the purpose of solid waste management or the solid waste is to protect lives. So protect lives. So people must learn to properly utilize and protect our environment, cultural properties, and natural sources. So meaning, nag-start sa mga tao para matabangan na to or to protect the environment. So nag-start sa tao. So we need to segregate or proper disposal or transport any waste nga importante sa proper segregation. And enhance public safety. Public safety remains to the top priority of the PNP. Destruction of lives and property caused by continuous misuse, abuse, and malpractice of the people on our natural resources must be fully stopped because we have the PNP to protect our resources and promote public safety. So should the PNP law enforcement can provide to stop or to enhance this issue or this problem. So we have the PNP, the Master Plan Sangyaman. So it is the PNP Master Plan to help protect and preserve our environment, cultural properties, and natural resources. So objectives to protect, conserve, and develop our environment and natural resources in coordination with an indirect support of all government agencies. So meaning, sa PNP Master Plan Sangyaman is the PNP has a campaign plan named Sangyaman. So it is the PNP Master Plan to help and protect and preserve our environment, cultural properties, and natural resources. So should the PNP or the Philippine National Police can provide or can protect our environment in terms of this master plan, the Sangyaman. So it can enhance our environmental and natural resources. So the master plan prescribe the guidelines to be followed by the PNP with officer. So in assisting lead by government agency in the enforcement of law over Philippine territorial water, lake, rivers, mountain range, forests, to include laws and ordinance that have been set for the preserve, protect, and enhance our environment and natural resources. So should the PNP can provide any guidelines, any protection to enhance any circumstances that we encountered, especially in our country, in the Philippines. So it is the one main or problem in our community, because people nowadays can distract or can destroy our mother nature, even naay PNP, but we should dapat tabangan na to ang mga pulis para mas madali, para mas ma-enhance or para mas maprotektahan nato ang atong environment. So that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Magjan G. Maglupay. In continuation of Roel Tripoli, we are now in prohibited acts and fines and penalties, which is ato na discuss karon. These are the prohibited acts in section Section 48. One of the prohibited action that has a penalty or fines under Section 48 is the intentional or unintentional throwing of your waste or garbage in the public, which is number one, littering, throwing, the dumping of waste matters in public places. Next prohibited act is the undertaking activities. In number three, the open burning of solid waste. So nowadays, burning of solid waste is no longer allowed because this may add to the damage of our ozone layer. In number 4, permitting the collection of non-segregated. So all garbage should be segregated by non-biodegradable or biodegradable. Number 5, squatting in open dumps and landfills. So living in the dump site and landfills is also prohibited. Number 6, burying of biodegradable and non-bio in flood-prone areas. So all non-biodegradable and biodegradable should be collected and not be buried in flood-prone areas because this may cause big damage. So number 7, non-authorized removal of recyclable materials. And also in number 8, the mixing of source-separated recyclable materials. So mixing of source-separated recycled materials is also prohibited. It should be segregated based on their type. For example, metal or glass or plastic, they should not be mixed together. Number 9, operation of open dumps. So operation of open dump site are those where solid waste is deposited without planning and consideration for environmental and health standards and are illegal or to establish to or operate. Those are operation of open dumps. So number 10, use of non-environmentally acceptable packaging materials. So these are the common problems now. Some example of non-environmental packaging materials is grocery bags, food packaging containers, and water bottles, straws, and etc. Nowadays, small business is encouraged to use recyclable or environmental friendly packaging materials such as paper bag. Number 11, importation of consumers products packaged in non-environmentally acceptable materials. So non-environmental packaged materials of imported goods is also prohibited. Number 12, importation of toxic waste. So importation of toxic waste shall not be permitted, and any of such import shall be treated as a case of illegal traffic. Examples of toxic waste, which is solvent-based paint, pesticide and other garden chemicals, batteries, motor oils, petrol, and kerosene. Those are the example of toxic waste. Number 13, transport and dump log in bank of collected domestic. Number 14, operation of waste management facilities without an environmental compliance certificate. Number 15, the construction of any established within 200 meter from open dumps. Number 16, the construction or operation of landfills. So those are the prohibited acts in section 48. And now we are in section 49, which is the fines and penalties of those we tackled earlier in those are in prohibited acts. These are the fines and penalties. Number 1, any person who violates section 48 part 1 shall be punished with a fine of not less than 300 pesos but not more than 1,000 pesos. So number 2, any person who violates Section 48, Part 2 and 3 shall be punished with a fine of not less than 300 pesos but not more than 1,000 pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 1 day but not more than 15 days. These are the penalties sa katong number 2 nga atong gi-discuss. Sa number 3, any person who violates Section 48, Part 4, 5, 6, and 7 shall be punished with a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos but not more than 3,000 pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 15 days but not more than 6 months. Number 4, any person who violates Section 48, Part 8, 9, 10, and 11 for first time shall pay a fine of 500 pesos plus amount not less than 5% but not more than 10% of his net annual income during the previous year. So number 5, the additional penalty of imprisonment of a minimum period of 1 year but not to exceed 3 years shall be imposed for second or subsequent violations of Section 48, Part 9 and 10. Number 6, any person who violates Section 48, Part 12 and 13 shall be punished with a fine of not less than 10,000 pesos but not more than 200,000 pesos, or imprisonment of but not more than 3 years. Number 7, any person who violates Section 48, Part 14, 15, and 16 shall be punished with a fine of not less than 100,000 pesos but not more than 1 year, not more than 1 million pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 1 year but not more than 6 years. So number 8, if the offense is committed by an operation, partnership, or other juridical identity duly recognized in accordance with the law, the chief executive officer, president, general manager, managing partner, or such other office in charge shall be liable for a commission of offense penalized under this act. Number 9, if the offender is an alien, he shall, after service of a sentence prescribed above, be deported without further administrative proceedings. Number 10, the fines herein prescribed shall be increased by at least 10% every 3 years to compensate for inflation and to maintain the deterrent functions of such fines. So, we are now in other interesting topics about Philippines environmental law, which is a Republic Act number 9275, also known as the Philippines Water Act 2004. The purpose of this Republic Act is to establish a comprehensive water quality management system, among other things. This act established water quality standards and regulations, as well as the pollution abatement and control from land-based sources. So, Philippines Water Act of 2004 aims to protect the country's water bodies from populations from land-based sources. The number 2, Second Republic Act number 8749, also known as the Philippines Clean Air Act of 1999. This act is a comprehensive air quality management policy and program which aims to achieve and maintain healthy air for all Filipinos. In Republic Act 9729, otherwise known as the Climate Change Act of 2009, this act was established by the Climate Change Comprehension as a sole policy making bodies within the government which oversees or coordinates and evaluates climate change policies and plans. So the last RA, which is RA number 9512, also known as the National Environmental Awareness and Education Act of 2008. The purpose of this act is to promote environmental awareness through environmental education and for other purposes. National Environmental Awareness and Education Act of 2008 articulates that the state shall promote national awareness of the role of natural resources in economic growth and the importance of environmental conservation and ecological balance towards sustained national development. So that's all.